Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast, where you have your hosts, Justin and BJ. We talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, gets to listen in, laugh, and hate on our takes and opinions, but just don't tell us about those unless it's been 3 days. So we got a special show for you tonight, and we are excited to bring on another guest with us. He is the MVP listener, in my opinion. He is a friend of the show. He is a brother to the show. He is the one, the only, Nathan Douglas Rabel. Everybody give him a hand. Nate, it's good to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us, man. How you been?
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Can I say one thing, though?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do this. Hello, my name is Nate. I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener, and I'm about to give you some horrible picks and reactions.
Yes.
Jim Rome.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
We are all living the dream. Thank you, Nate. That is awesome. We're doing a little bit different format tonight. We're going to have Nate join us for the entire podcast and the entire episode. So he's going to weigh in on our 3-day-old news. He's going to make picks with us. We're going to talk some fun stories of some time we've had with Nate. So, Nate, just welcome, man. I'm so glad you're here. It's good. We get to see you on camera. They don't get to see you. But it's good to see you. Good to be with you tonight. I'm excited for a fun time. Justin, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to have my brother on this podcast. It's the only time I get to see him.
Fake news.
Fake
Fake
news.
news. Yeah.
No, I talked to my
ago.
brother. Oh, yeah, that's right. You graced us with your presence. You're right.
That's right.
But no, I'm doing good. Just another week, man. Another week starts out. I'm excited to get this interview done with my brother. Everybody's been asking for it, so I've been looking for this time to see what would come of our tall tales and stories.
Yeah, what's cool is like I listen to a bunch of different other podcasts and different other shows, and one of the podcasts I listen to is they have their own podcast company now, and so they do a bunch of different shows out of their same company. And I think we got the preview of a spin-off show already last week from my dad, Rod, as he said he can't wait to listen to the Nate and Justin show. So I think we should.
Oh, jeez.
Are we having a pregnant moment here where there's a new show about to be birthed?
No.
No.
Okay.
Brothers and pregnant should not be in the same sentence together. We're not living.
Wouldn't get a word in.
No, you never do you?
And he would fall asleep. Like when we used to live together, he would fall asleep while we watched TV. So
I was flipping through channels.
Yeah,
we'd always end up on the Spanish channel. What did we?
Yep.
And Nate's had the pleasure of living with us too, just like BJ has. We've been so kind to allow our closest family members and friends live with Becky and Justin. It's been entertaining.
You are something if it's not kind. Yeah, that's true. So that's good.
Or desperate, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we do is we recap the past 3 days, and then so I want to start with our guest, Nate. What did you do this last weekend? What was your weekend like, man?
I mean, we just watched some football, yelled at the TV because Illinois ruined our night, and but then the Chiefs won again because we're awesome. So
well, enough about that. You're just bringing up all sorts of bad news. Next, you're going to tell me my dog died. So.
You didn't know?
You didn't know?
You must have got off the podcast after your parents told us that story.
No, but we kind of had a party with church friends to watch the Chiefs game, but also because our worship leader took another job, so it was a party for our worship leader, kind of saying goodbye and all that. But then we watched the Chiefs game, so it was it was a fun time.
Good. I could really insert a really bad joke here, but I won't. That's really cool that you had a good time with family and friends and playing football and telling your worship leader goodbye. So that's awesome. Justin, how was your weekend?
Thanks. I'm going to insert a story here, but I'm not. So we're going to be okay. No, weekend was good. Husker football. I went to the game. Disappointing, but sometimes you just need to learn how to win, and that's what we're having trouble with. Saturday, much of nothing, just kind of hanging out until my daughter and niece had their combined birthday party at our house. So we had some family over and we hung out, and then church on Sunday and Red Zone football on Sunday. So we got to sit around and watch Red Zone a little bit, and then the kids' activities at night. So, what about you, BJ?
My weekend was pretty quiet. I did get to watch the game Friday night. Again, shout out to my good friend here to joining us. Appreciate your help. But it was disappointing, as Nate said. But Saturday, really quiet day. Got to go on a good walk, had a good time with that, but didn't do much except got ready to go. I'm traveling for work again, so I am on location. So I left on Sunday, had a 10-hour travel day, and just not much going on.
Coast to coast travel, right? Oregon,
coast to coast. Yep.
That's gross.
Oh, that does.
I am an entire continent away from my family right now. That's crazy. When you look at Life 360, there's an entire North America between us. That just boggles my mind right now. So
yeah. Well, good deal. I'm happy that you're safe travels, and it's really late at night where you're at. The roles are reversed.
The roles are reversed. Yeah, my body's still on Pacific Northwest time, but it is telling me outside that it's time to go to bed. But that's all right.
Yeah.
So,
nope.
Staying up.
Nope.
Yeah, if you get to stay up and do the edit tonight and do all the
upload, right, yeah, for sure. So I want to get us started. I think we're going to skip the old news, Justin.
That sounds good. I'm good with that.
So I got the opportunity to go back to Lincoln, Nebraska in March, and got to hang out with Justin and Becky and their kids. And one of the nights after we watched basketball, we called Nate. And there was no drinking that day. There was no extracurricular happening. We were at Justin's house watching on his 5 million screens that he has in his basement. And somebody said, we need to go get a shake. We need to go get Chick-fil-A shakes. And so we're like, yeah, let's go. So we got in the car and went, and we were like, we got to call Nate. And so we called Nate. He was having quality family time, but we interrupted it. And we literally just were on the phone and laughed for like probably a good hour.
It was easy an hour.
Just about stuff. And Nate you asked, have you guys been drinking? And we're like
nope. Actually tonight. Actually, I think we did. We shared a growler. We had one growler, but we didn't have,
We were not inebriated by
No. So. You would think that based off of our laughing and the people next to us probably thought we were drunk too, So
we brought this story up. So I just want to say that to say, Nate, we always have fun with you. We always enjoy hanging out and being, like Justin said, when we started the podcast, Justin and I, we all have been. We've been friends for almost 30 years now. And we've been through a lot. We've had some great times when Justin moved away. Then you and I, Nate, connected more, and you were close to my brother as well, and Brady as he's listening, and Jeff, our other friend. But we've had some really funny times together, some really funny stories. And one of the stories that got brought up a couple weeks ago was the story about golf clubs. And one of the things, just to kind of give a little background, what we would do is we would just drive around. Sometimes just for fun, we would drive around. Sometimes it was serious. We would talk about things in life. And other times there was a designated driver, but the rest of us were enjoying ourselves. And one night we had this great idea. And I just want to know, Nate, what of this night do you remember when we were able to find golf clubs? And then can you tell us what you were thinking when you found these golf clubs? Do you remember this story?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure, because this was in, who had the convertible?
Brady had the convertible.
Brady had wasn't it a
Chrysler LeBaron?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were just driving around, having a fun time. Probably drove down O Street, cruising O, and then we kind of went through neighborhoods. And I remember we saw golf clubs just laying. It wasn't even on anyone's property in my mind. It was just laying there.
Liar.
Maybe up against their fence. So I don't know. Maybe in their yard. It was there for the taking. It seemed to me like they were getting rid of it.
Do you remember what neighborhood that was in?
No, was it where they do when they used to do Candy Cane Lane for lights?
No.
No.
It was actually in the Offits neighborhood.
Oh, was it?
It
wasn't
drove
Offit's house, right?
No, I don't think they played golf. Okay. But we found it. I still drive past that house because I laugh every time I look at that fence. And there was golf clubs that a kid, wanted to.
Yeah. He probably should put them away.
So
right?
I don't think we were. Them. So isn't it funny how we all remember a story differently though? I think this is cool because I thought it was the same night that Nate decided to take a golf club and swing it outside of the car.
I think that was the same night. We got all the clubs.
We had all the clubs.
He decided
we were in Justin's car.
Oh, I thought it was a convertible.
Because I was in the back seat with you, and you went and you swung it, and it ricocheted off of something. I won't say what. And it bounced back, and it
hit the car.
Justin's car. And he looks at me, and he goes, "Don't tell Justin. Don't tell Justin." I'm like, he's driving the car.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that wasn't my Dodge Daytona with the T-tops, was it?
No, it was I thought it was one of the Hondas.
Yeah, it probably was Justin's car.
It does. Either way.
I was just remembering Brady's cars. They were beautiful. So
we did a lot out of the convertible on O Street with Brady and Phil, and
I had T-tops.
Yeah,
T-top cars.
What's one of the most memorable things about your T-tops? Your car with T-tops?
Well, probably DJ. One morning, I go in my car and it smells so bad.
That was not me.
Sure.
I had nothing to do with it.
And I look under my seat and there's a fish in there.
Dude,
the fish for a few days.
Dude, the thing had maggots.
It was disgusting.
Nate, you were so mad at me. That was not me.
Okay.
I do know who it was.
Who was it?
You're past 7 years.
We're past the statue, and I'm going to throw her under the bus. It was Katie Wassenberg.
Oh, good old Katie Wassenberg.
Yeah,
Nate, you were pissed at me, and I was like, I didn't do it. I had no idea, and I found out later it was Katie Wassenberg.
I probably did something. My bad. Sorry, Katie.
Did you leave her on date night when you went bowling?
Bowling?
Just joking. No, that was Grand Island.
Grand Island. I didn't mean it. I was busy. I had an emergency at home. I had to leave.
Oh
no. Yeah, so I fished. It really smelled. That took forever to get that smell out.
Yeah.
What were some of it? So we talked to Rod and Mary last week. What are your fond memories of hanging over at the Thelander's house?
Oh man, I was just thinking because I watched a lot of. I got I enjoyed a lot of shows. So when no one was home, like the kids weren't there, and Rod is sitting down and he's watching, but he got me on the Law and Order.
Yeah.
He got me hooked on Law and Order, and then that became SVU, and then we also watched. Mine was a lot of shows, because then we watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It seemed like almost every Sunday night with Regis, and I mean it just, you guys allowed us to let me spend the night, especially Sunday nights, because I worked at Noah's Ark with BJ, where my mom was, and Jeff worked there, and Todd. And but we would open in the morning, so that was really early. So we had to open the school age room and get everything set up. So they were nice enough to let me stay the night, and we just had fun. But I remember a lot of you guys mentioned food. Just enjoyed having food, and I do remember the popcorn. I actually got popcorn cereal this week. And,
yes, you did.
It was delicious. No, just kidding. I just wanted to.
You're gonna make BJ blow a gasket again.
Oh my word!
But yeah, it was fun just to hang out, and I mean we watched a lot of sports there. I remember as a youth group we had to watch Nebraska lose to Miami, the Rose Bowl. We were down in the basement, and I was not a happy camper that night. But it was great. We were watching in the basement, but
yeah, that's probably one of your introverts times, BJ. You were wanting everybody to leave, and you went upstairs.
That could be.
Was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like all youth group.
But that's the interesting thing that we didn't really talk about, is that there would be times that Nate and I would show up at your parents' house, and you guys wouldn't be there. We'd just be hanging out with your parents.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, they'll be back at some point. We'll hang out. So
Yeah,
sometime they'll come.
I think that was cool. It was always fun when you drove up into the driveway to see whose cars were there, because you just never knew who was going to be at the house, and that was honestly, even as an introverted, I mean that was cool, because you always knew your friends were there. I mean it was cool from my perspective too. Nate, there was a time. Oh
geez.
So two things. You brought up spending the night on Sunday nights. Do you remember there were a couple nights that I was not feeling well, and we usually slept out in the living room, and you would sleep on the couch and I'd sleep on the floor. And I remember not feeling well, and I took NyQuil one night.
Oh geez.
You were like all serious because you were having some girl troubles or something, and you were trying to confide in me and talk to me, and I'm just like, dude, I just took some NyQuil. I got 8 minutes tops, and I'm gonna be out. And you just kept talking, and I felt so bad. I was like, Nate, I'm so tired.
You're like,
you
no.
know, those were very personal conversations I wanted to have.
Confessions that you made to him, and he.
Yeah, I probably made really good confessions, but then all I got was slur words and probably drool everywhere.
Well, what's really cool, it was, but I loved it because it just meant that we got to hang out more, and those times were cool because it was just you and I, and then we'd go open the daycare and stuff too. Tell me a story. So especially when Jeff was there, the three of us, we got in a lot of trouble at the daycare.
Yeah.
Tell me something you remember when you and I worked across the hall.
Oh yeah.
In the different rooms together. We were both assistant teachers in those rooms down the hall. Did how many days? Man, we would do. How many times did we do nap times together where we're sitting out in the hallway just laughing, and hope we had to get in trouble because everybody was like, "You guys are going to wake up the kids," because we were laughing so hard
quiet.
in the hallway.
Yeah, tell us to be quiet. And we would from one, you're at the end of on the back wall, and you can see through the door, and I'm in the other room and the back wall, and we would take a ball and just bounce it.
Was it like
back and forth to each other.
Oh,
see how many times we can get it.
Was it like the Friends episode where you're trying to do the fireball game, whatever that was? Do you remember that?
The throwing and just catching it, not dropping
yeah,
it?
and not dropping it. Is that what you guys did?
Yeah, it was just trying to just go back and forth, but we're bouncing it and trying.
I think it was a racquetball.
Yeah,
and we would try to see how long it would go before a kid would get in the way. We weren't trying to hit the kids, but they would be walking through the room, and we would just be throwing the ball back and forth. Yeah.
Now that kid has special needs. We got it.
Yep.
Here's another cool thing that I think about, and this could segue to another story that we were wanting to talk about tonight too. But do you ever think about the age of the kids that we help teach how to walk? We were changing diapers. Some of these kids are getting their master's degrees. They're getting married and having their own kids. And I don't feel that old. So I don't know about you, Nate, but is there one of those kids that stands out to you that's just like, I can't believe he or she is this old?
The first one that came to my mind, that always comes to my mind, is Garrett Kurtzer. Garrett Kurtzer, and now I guess he lives, maybe he might be living where Nick Messing and I used to live. They own that house. I'm
sure they live in the. I'm pretty dead serious. They're in the rental. They bought a rental, and because I talked to Dale Kurtzer, Garrett's dad, and he said that they bought the rental on that street, and I said, hey, does it have this in it? Does it have this? Does it have a hole in the ceiling? And we could talk about the whole guy in there, but yeah. I think he does live in that house, the exact same house.
Because Garrett was, he was in that. Were you working? Do you remember if you were working when Garrett? Yeah, he was probably pre-K and then school age,
and he's married now with the kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember, if you remember, Jonah and Gabe.
Yeah.
I always remember his dad was a professor at University of Nebraska, and he would always wear shorts. Even if it was freezing out and snowing, he would pick up those kids wearing shorts. And
pants or shorts.
So there were shorts, but so those kids, and then I didn't realize, but we had a Nebraska Husker basketball player last year. Sam Gressel was last year.
Sam Griesel, yeah. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Sam Griesel, yeah.
Turned out me and his grandpa backed into each other in the parking lot when he was a kid. Yeah, my mom remembers, and I was like, "Oh man, I felt bad." I was like, "I didn't mean."
Was that in the Mustang too?
The Mustang too. Well, I almost flipped it, and I felt bad. Jack Ikesy built that.
Well, he kept that car forever, and I live in Jack Ikesy's house.
Yeah,
I bought their house, and he used to keep that car in the side yard. You remember crashing? You remember running into a parked car when you were picking up your sister from school?
That car was not there. That car just showed up.
Just came out of nowhere.
That sun was the brightest ever that day. I did not see that parked car.
Yeah.
Felt bad. I think I gave Michael concussion. Oh well.
Yeah.
That was bad, but that was such a cool car. But I remember, I think it was Brady and I. We were driving on a gravel road, and I turned really fast in it, and almost flipped it. But I kept us upright. We're good. But I enjoyed that car. But I hit Sam Gressel grandpa we ran into each other. We kind of bumped into each other. But I remember all those. Yeah, there was a lot of kids. It was fun, especially the school age room. Especially when Jeff, he was in charge of it. Do you remember the wall game that he would play outside with the ball and pretty much like pelt the kids with it?
Yeah, it was murder balls. What we called it.
Murder ball. Yeah. was the greatest game ever.
Yeah. And then, playing football with those kids. And I remember when Jeff's brother Todd was in charge of the school age room, and we would play football out there with the school agers. And some of those kids they were beasts. I mean, they could handle their own. But you mentioned Gabe and Jonah, both of them, they were just, man, they were hard-nosed kids. And Eric, I can't remember his last name, but that kid, he couldn't catch anything. He couldn't catch COVID. And
before COVID was cool.
And I would give him. I just remember Todd would always get on to me. Hey, just give him a break. But if he didn't throw him the ball, he would cry. But yeah, no, I remember being in like helping with breaks and different things, and we'd stand in the lunchroom and. Because your teacher would go on break, that's who I was giving break for, and then they'd put you and I together, and it was just
that was not smart.
That was fun. So
that is one thing I didn't do is work at the daycare.
You're the only Rabel that didn't, because even Dad did it.
Yeah, even my dad worked at the daycare part when they
Just
needed help.
Bit.
Yeah. I was the only one who never was employed. Probably because I'm not nice.
Yeah.
Remember when?
Nope.
Just being a youth sponsor didn't work out well either.
Oh man. So we Garrett Kurtzer bought a house that we all three spent an evening at one night.
We spent multiple evenings there.
I think that was the only time I was invited or allowed to come back, actually. I think I was only there that one time.
But as adults...
Weren't you already in Wichita?
I was somewhere, but we went out for a night on the town and ended back up at your place, and we decided as adults we were going to play sardines. And
one of our favorites from youth group, one of our favorite games during youth group.
So we played sardines, and how many bedrooms was that house? Probably 4?
Yeah.
There's 2. Was it 3 downstairs and 1 upstairs?
We had 4 people in that house. Yeah.
That's
it
what I
was
thought.
you, Nick, Byron, and who?
His name's Tyler. He's the one that owned the house.
Tyler Wasson?
No.
Just
And we start playing sardines in there, and we get up into the attic? Or
it converted into a room, but it is there's an attic space up there.
But it was me, BJ, Nate, Becky, Nick, and who else?
Katie Wassenberg was there.
Was Katie Wassenberg there?
See, this is why I got fish.
This is why Nate got fished.
This was the night it came out, because Katie and I we're playing sardines, and so there's a group, and Becky was there. I don't know if she remembers this or not, but we were all, there was 4 of us like hiding under this bed.
The bed in Byron's room, wasn't it?
I think so, because he wasn't even playing. He was so mad at us for going through his stuff.
There?
Yeah. But
he gave himself
that was the night Katie confessed to that it was her, not me.
So underneath the bed, she's like, "Hey, guess what? I put that fish in Nate's car."
Yeah, I was pissed.
And then
Nate was mad at me for a long time.
Well, I mean, you were over at Sean and I's apartment a lot, so I just assumed it was you.
No, I had no idea.
A name I haven't heard in a very long time.
Sean
Yost.
I enjoyed that apartment. But yeah, so what happened? What did you guys do? What did Becky do to that floor in that, in that attic?
It was Nick.
I was just going to blame it on Becky.
Don't blame Becky.
We were coming down. We were all hid up in that attic room, and we were walking out to go because we were resetting the game. We would go outside is where we started. We'd go outside. Yep. So we're walking through the rafters of this house,
and Nick
steps through the gap, and his foot goes through the ceiling,
right above the front door.
Over the front door.
Right
and we're like, I think the game is over now.
Yep. Did you patch that yourself, Nate?
Oh yeah. I got all the tools.
What
tools?
Up
some floor thingies.
Okay.
Wow.
Jeez. Floor thingies. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Sorry, Garrett.
Yeah, sorry, Garrett. But yeah, there's a lot of adults playing in a very tiny spot, and it was very entertaining. We had a lot of good laughs. There was people hiding in clothes hampers, and oh my gosh, I don't even know how we found places to hide in that house. To be honest with you, because that house was kind of a small house,
Very small.
I think that was what made it entertaining.
I heard. Well,
here's the sappy moment for the night then. Because I think the reason you ended up in that house, Nate, is because you and I were supposed to live together. Mm-hmm. And you were moving back to Lincoln, and I was getting ready for my lease to be up. And you and I were going to live together, and I ditched you and moved back to Kansas and felt horrible. So I did not do the fish, so I am not apologizing for that. But I will apologize for leaving you high and dry and making you live in that house with those guys. So
you have a lot of apologies out here on these podcasts.
Well, I'm just trying to go through the steps, You
recognize that he hasn't apologized to me for anything yet?
I'm pretty sure it's you that did
it. I had nothing to do with the fish.
No, you weren't. But yeah, so I mean, it would have been fun. It would have been fun, but you needed to be in Kansas. It all turned out to be. But I shouldn't have. Honestly, looking back at it, I shouldn't have come back. I lost my Minnesota scholarship, but I could have gotten it back. I found out I definitely could have gotten it back if I went to JUCO and got my grades up and got it back. But you guys were there, and I also was dating somebody in Lincoln. And then 2 weeks later, when I moved back to Lincoln, she broke up with me. So,
who was that? Who were you dating?
Mary.
Oh,
I saw somebody. I was thinking about that, knowing you were coming on the podcast, and I saw somebody just this week that looked exactly like her, and I was like, I wonder if Nate remembers this girl.
Didn't she have your kid?
No.
I mean, didn't she have a kid?
Yeah, she had a kid. Yeah,
she had a kid.
What
was her kid's name?
Yeah, what was the kid's name? Do you remember?
No idea. No.
I remember they came over to Mom and Dad's one time. Didn't they, for like a holiday of some sort?
Well, she worked at the daycare for a little bit, didn't she?
Yes.
Or her kid was in the daycare. Is that how you met her?
Daycare. I think I met her through Mandy.
Yeah.
So they probably did work together.
Those were some fun nights.
With Mandy too?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of. Okay, hang on a second. Anybody home? Is this thing still on? All right, we'll move on.
Yeah, moving on.
Yep, moving on.
All right, so.
That was one of the benefits of working at a daycare, especially as there wasn't a lot of guys that worked there. We always got made fun of. I know your mom was at the top of this list that made fun of us all the time, but she would just make fun of us as you guys are only working here to try to get girls. And it was like, it didn't work very well for us.
No, it didn't work.
I was going to say there wasn't very much to choose from.
No.
Not many quality people to choose from. Yeah.
Based off of what you were looking for at the time, yes.
For sure.
But yeah, if you think about it, like, if you didn't move to Kansas, like, what would have your story would be a completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? For sure. Yeah. Because I was dating a girl at the time that she was just like most girls that I date, that she was just so smitten to me and she just wanted everything. And I was just like, you know what? I'm leaving for Kansas, so 2 fingers, I'm out, and broke her heart.
Broke my heart too.
It broke my heart as well.
I'm sorry, Nate.
BJ tried to get rid of me one time, but it didn't work.
I had you and Brady in Kansas City for a little bit.
Yeah.
So and you got me hooked on Criminal Minds, so it all worked out. See?
Oh man, that's another story because when we lived over in that duplex in Gardner. And you guys would come over every week to watch Criminal Minds. We had DVR, but this was before we wanted to watch it live. And so Criminal Minds would come on at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And you and Taylor would come over for dinner, and we would watch Criminal Minds. And there was an episode, I remember it vividly. The episode had to do with the guy jumping the trains and breaking into the houses and killing people, right? And there was a train that went right through our backyard in Gardner. And I think I said to you, we're either watching this at your house next week or we're watching it during the day on DVR because I'm done.
Is the Gardner duplex the one that had the open field behind it and then it had the train tracks there, BJ? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is that the one that I moved you so many times I don't remember. But is that
was
the house that we moved in and I literally had your cable set up so we could watch the Husker game that night?
And I think they were playing K-State.
K-State, 100% they were. Yeah, I do remember that now.
And that was when we moved in there. That was when we first moved in there. That was the first time we met Drew and Jill and their family. Because I told Brady, I said, we need some help moving. And he goes, I'll have a small group. I thought he said his small group. It wasn't his small group. It was the one he was trying to set us up with. So we met Drew and Jill and some other people. I mean, the Spikers have been a family friends for a long time, but just different parts of that family over the years. But that was a great season of life for so many reasons. But yeah,
see, we got to live in the same town. It all worked.
Yeah,
just for a little bit. Then you left, and then Brady left, and cry every night.
Then I moved back, and then everybody just decided to leave.
Yeah. That seems about right.
That seems about right.
Now we're not going in chronological order with these stories, but that's okay. But
we're all over the place.
Do you remember, Nate? This got brought up in a previous episode, but there is unfortunately picture proof of this night. But do you remember whose idea it was for us to lip sync "Kiss Me" in dresses at camp?
Oh, I mean, that was totally you. I mean, I want to wear a dress and makeup.
Yeah, I didn't tell the makeup part. You're breaking news.
There was no makeup.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I
don't know why we did it.
You're always giving tips about how to put on lipstick.
But it was a talent show, and was that our last year?
No.
I think so. I don't remember, but
we're probably trying to impress girls, wearing dresses.
And it backfired. I remember that because that was the same year we talked about this with Justin. That was the same year that Jeff took 6 dates to the banquet.
Yeah, the banquet. Oh man,
and we took 0. So, yeah, that was great.
I think Becky was one of those dates
with Jeff.
So it wasn't our last.
I think so.
I don't think it was our last one. No.
No.
Becky was still there
because Becky and I met after my last year in '99.
I don't know if I ever had a date at the banquet. Honestly, it's sad. It's
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I remember because it turned into a long distance date in Superior.
Is this the brack-up girl?
No.
Oh.
I think you went to the banquet one year with Stacy. Stacy.
Oh.
Stacy Miller at the time. She's
Schaefer.
Not Stacy.
Yeah.
Schaefer. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably did. We probably did as friends.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you went with Katie one year.
No, that was prom.
Oh, prom.
Oh, you're a good man.
Well, we didn't have prom, BJ. We were homeschooled for the last 2 years, couple years, and
I was homeschooled. You took Black History year off.
I had to take a month off.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh.
That was so funny. It's like, Nate, have you done your assignment? No. Why not? Took Black History Month off.
Took February off.
Oh,
and it's even a leap year. I get an extra day this year.
Yeah.
But we did graduate together.
And we graduated with Britney Spears.
Yeah,
and with Britney Spears. Yeah,
she homeschooled too, didn't she? From the same
American homeschool.
Yep.
Yeah. Did she do her senior pictures with you guys too?
Yeah.
I'm sure she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had to wear the school uniform from her music video.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
And where did you guys do your senior pictures at?
We did it at the daycare playground.
Yep.
Yep.
But here's the reason because the church was a brick building.
Yeah.
And so we used the brick background because Nate and I took our senior pictures together, some of them. At the time, I was a Cubs fan, and he's still a Cubs fan, and so we put on our Cubs jerseys, and that brick background kind of, well, the person who took our pictures said that would look like the Wrigley fence.
Yeah.
And so we did
ivy.
that.
I thought you guys were on little kids' John Deere toys.
No. It was because of the brick building.
Yeah. So who was your Cubs jersey? Which player?
That was I'm pretty sure that was my like Cooperstown Classic. So it was like a Hall of Fame jersey, and I'm pretty sure it was Ernie Banks, like Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Gotta ask my mom. I don't remember.
Because
I got it down. We went down to Arlington, Texas to see when our Uncle Lynn and Deb were down there, and to see the Texas stadium, Arlington, Texas, and the Rangers, and they had like this Cooperstown, and they had a Cubs jersey. So I'm pretty sure I wore that. Who was yours? Yeah. Mark Grace?
No, I didn't have. I had a Sosa jersey.
I Sosa.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a white one?
Yeah, at one point I had pinstripes. At one point I did have a Sandberg jersey. He was my favorite player, Sandberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
Until I went to Wrigley, and then my Cubs days were over.
You didn't go with me. See, if you went with me, we would have had fun.
That's true.
You should have went with me.
Nate, one of my favorite stories, it doesn't really involve BJ. Sorry, BJ, you left me out of the other ones. No, but one of the funniest ones when we were growing up, do you remember all the things that we used to do at our house when it came to like playing sports inside the house when mom and dad were gone, playing like balloon volleyball, and you getting upset and breaking windows?
No.
But do you remember when we set up the miniature golf course in our house down the hallway, hallway?
Yeah.
And then to this, up until I don't remember how many years ago, but there was a picture at the end of the hallway that we broke. And we took out all the glass out of that and hung it back up on the wall. And then after the kids all left the house, that picture still was up on the wall. But mom and dad never knew that picture never had glass in it because we took it out until we told them that we said, do you remember when we made that ramp for that golf ball hole that we were building and we ramped it off of it? And it shattered this picture at the end of the hall. And we got it cleaned up, and mom and dad didn't know about it for many years.
I think it was decades.
You know why they didn't remember it, though, is because they were downstairs drinking that sake that was 60 years old.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, your former roommate, Nick and I used to take some shots out of that sake, the sake that really? We used to that. I don't remember what else we would drink. We'd steal some old wine coolers out of mom and dad's fridge that they had.
Didn't they have a Husker football
with the whiskey?
Whiskey?
Yeah, that stuff will kick you right in the throat. But yeah, we used to try that. Yeah, that sake you're talking about, BJ. I still think it's downstairs with my parents. I still think it's rancid. I don't think anybody's tried it in many years. I don't know. We should do that this year, Nate. What do you think?
I'm good.
4th of July party. Blow up mailboxes and drink some old sake.
Well, that is a tradition in the Rabel family, is blowing up mailboxes and grills. Yeah. Remember those 4th of Julys?
Yep.
Do you guys remember the 4th of Julys we used to do in the church parking lot?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that didn't James Snook get run over? Is that when you ran over James Snook?
James Snook got in the way of my car.
Yeah. But no, we did because we would play. I thought that's when we would play like we do is that Roman candles, and then we try to hit it.
Yeah.
We try to hit them. So we aim at each other and try to try to hit him with a bat or a bongo bat, one of those big bats.
Do you also?
I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the game that we used to play with the water guns, where it was like ultimate, like, what they call it? It was like ultimate tag or something like that. Where it was it's called the Day of Assassins or something like that.
Week of Assassins.
Week of Assassins. That's what it was.
Assassins,
and then I don't remember who it was, but Nate and I were at bowling. You remember going to bowling on Saturday mornings?
Oh, I loved it.
And
bowling, yeah.
somebody came into the side and shot us. I don't remember who it was.
Probably BJ.
But I don't know who it was. Let's just blame BJ for everything. But you couldn't do that nowadays. Run around with water guns and go into public buildings and shoot people and run away.
No.
Like, can you imagine something like that happening?
Well, and then we also would drive around and have them sticking out the windows, shooting people in cars. Yeah. No, you couldn't do that anymore.
Do you remember when and I don't know if you remember this, BJ, and I don't remember Nate being there, but I snuck into to your guys' house and I snuck down the stairs and I shot whoever I was going after.
It was my sister.
Your sister. And then I went running out of my house and I slid on the gravel because I parked in the back and Nate, you remember Mom and Dad's car and I put that big dent in the side of the car? Remember my leg just went straight into the car and it just gave this huge dent. Oh my gosh. That was from Week of Assassins. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cannot do that. We would be arrested.
Yeah. That was a Jeff Oldenettle thing.
Was that a Jeff Oldenettle thing?
Jeff and Bill. Yeah. That was pre-Michael Downs.
Good old Michael Downs. Wonder where that guy's at now.
Do you remember?
He's in the ministry.
Yeah. Do you remember, Nate, when we put we stacked the pop cans in front of his office door?
I was there for that.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
But you also know the other thing too is remember we took all the couches out of the underground and we put them in his room, including that big blue banana couch. You remember that couch?
Yeah.
Which ended up in our basement.
It did. Yep. But I remember doing that because we're like, oh, cool, we'll put all these couches in there. And then the church recycled cans. And so on a Saturday night, we stacked up all those cans. And Michael came to church. And he was again in his office. He was livid. And I don't regret it.
He's like, how are we going to clean this up? How am I supposed to get in my office? I said, you walk through the cans. They're empty pop cans. It's not that hard.
Just walk through it.
Oh gosh, the stuff that we used to do to him.
Yeah.
Well, I got another story, and then we probably need to move on to some real life things like sports and talking about our picks that we want to go over with Nate. But Nate, do you remember? So one of the things, Justin, that we would always do when we'd go over to your guys' house is we'd always we would ask your dad, Tim, if he would make us milkshakes.
No, malts.
Yeah.
And he made the best malts. And he told me the secret couple times when I was there in March. He told me the secret, and I about threw up in my mouth.
That's why you don't ask my dad what he puts in anything he brings to a party.
But this is exactly what we did to Nate. Do you remember when my brother made you a milkshake?
I do remember. Now, I, being a nice guy,
yes, you were.
I am. I thought he was trying to make something really nice and special for me.
He did,
and did not. And I even drank. I drank it, and it was chunky. And I was just trying to be very gentlemanlike. Yes. And just say, this is good.
What was, BJ, I can't remember your dog's name. What was your dog's name?
Buffy.
Buffy.
I do not remember Buffy.
I had a mental.
Yeah.
Mental.
I think the reason you were trying to be nice, though, Nate, was because you were still trying to impress my sister is why you were
yeah.
Yeah,
but
stories.
You did. You were. That is true. I will attest to what you just said. You were always trying to make sure Brady felt included and Brady felt good, and you made him feel good that night by you drinking his liquid smoke milkshake.
Liquid smoke milkshake with dog biscuits.
Yes.
Well, then
rounded up in it.
Yes, there were dog biscuits, but I got you to eat a dog biscuit. for real out of the container. You remember this one?
No, I don't remember this one.
Okay. So Nate talked about as you first came on the show that you guys would show up at our house times when we're not there, or you'd be watching sports with my dad waiting for us to get home. Well, that day, my dad always had snacks by his chair. He'd have chips or peanuts or popcorn sitting there. And he also had kept the dog treats there for Buffy to give her a treat. And Nate's sitting in my dad's chair watching TV, and we're like sitting down. We're like, Nate, you should really try those dog treats. They're really good. They taste like beef jerky. They taste like so good. And you looked at me with all the seriousness in your face, and you looked at me and you said, are you serious? Have you had one? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Why would I tell you to eat one if I hadn't had one?
And look, they're right by Rod's chair. You should try one.
I had not had one, and you took that thing, and we didn't tell you till you had swallowed that last bite. And we're like, no, that's disgusting. And you ate the whole thing.
Oh, Nate.
You were always a good sport, man.
Just, trying a new diet. I was going to say, I mean, if the pastor is by the pastor's chair, you should do what he says, right? I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And that's why I don't have any shakes from Brady ever again, because I don't trust him.
Yeah,
I don't even think you should trust him. Yeah, to this day.
Oh, ever? No.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, Brady. Yeah. I miss you.
Well,
he's not.
We'll have
kidding,
to
Brady.
talk about this story when Brady comes on and see what he remembers of it too. I think that would be funny, but it's pretty good. So, well, Nate, one of the things we like to do is we like to pick games, and we are really bad at it. So,
yeah, you are.
We would love to have you join us in this. Last week I caught up. Justin was 2-3 last week, so his overall record is 10-10. So if you're betting games with Justin, you are not winning. And I went 3-2 last week, and that brings my record to 10-10. So we're even, Justin. We're starting fresh.
Yeah, it's like we know what we're doing.
No, it's not at all. So I have picked 5 more games for us this week to pick, and I'd love for Nate's pick. So I went ahead and picked a game Nate would be interested in, just to be fair, just to be nice, because he's my friend and
the Indiana Fever.
So, yeah.
Oh. The NBA?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's
We're going to talk
playoffs.
WNBA in the next couple of weeks with our special guest coming on the show, who's a photographer for the Sparks. So we're looking forward to that.
Breaking news.
So first game on the docket that I have for us is Nate's Kansas City Chiefs. They are favored by 8.5 points, which is a big spread in the NFL, at the Chargers. Division game, rivalry game. Chargers have a hurt quarterback now. Kansas City, if you listen to anything Kansas City, which I don't know how you can't when it's Travis Kelce and the Swifties and all the stuff going on with that, but they all say, "Oh, we got so much to improve." They're back-to-back Super Bowl champs. Shut up! Nobody feels sorry for you. And I hate the Chiefs. So,
fair.
Nate, who you got? 8.5 points. Kansas City Chiefs at the Chargers. Who you got?
Oh, I got the Chiefs. Yeah, Herbert's in a boot, and I believe another defensive player just got suspended for a game because the Chiefs paid the refs.
That's
and the
fair.
NFL. So I think it's Derwin James. He's out. So the Chargers are not good. I mean, no one shows up to the games. They're kind of just I mean, the Chiefs will have more fans there, and so Chiefs over.
They fill the spread here. They covered.
All right, 8.5.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
they'll win by 10.
the Rabel distinction. They'll win by 10.
Well, win by 10. Yep.
There's 2 teams that I root for in the NFL. I root for the Denver Broncos, and I root for anybody playing the Chiefs. So I'm taking the Chargers, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't care. The Chargers are going to come up to play. They're going to win by 56 points. And Patrick Mahomes is going to break both legs and have a concussion. His career is over.
Wow.
Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
I'll pray for you tonight.
Well, I would say that the Chargers would only win if they were the San Diego Chargers and they wore those dark blue unis. But I'm with BJ because he's my brother. I have to go against the Chiefs. I think
Cowboy and Bronco fans. You guys don't.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We have no valid, and Justin just wants to stay tied with me. I don't know why. So
yeah, I mean, I think the Chargers are going to win in a last-minute field goal.
Okay.
Isn't Dicker the kicker with the Chargers?
Dicker the kicker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Calling it now.
All right. The next game I picked was another NFL game. This one intrigues me just because there's just two teams that one of them is bad, but two teams with the same record right now, but one of them shouldn't be this bad. But it's a huge spread for the NFL. New England Patriots at San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored by 10 points, even though they're playing their fourth-string freshman team. Nate, who you got?
Oh, I'm gonna go Patriots. Cover. That's way too
okay.
big.
To cover. Okay.
To cover.
Patriots
49ers will win, but Patriots to cover.
Okay.
The Patriots have a decent defense. So, but they don't have an offense.
What time is that game at?
It's the afternoon game. It's in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's way too high, especially with everybody out.
Yeah.
Justin, 10 points is way too much. No, 49ers are going to destroy him.
49ers for Justin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Logic.
Well, I need to take the lead, so I'm gonna go with Nate on this one. I'm going Patriots to cover the points, not to win.
Dude, it's literally the NFL. The Panthers won last week. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm out of my survivor pool. Thanks, guys.
You all right there? Do you have a session real quick?
I'm good.
All right.
Andy Dalton. I mean, I don't know why he can win a game.
I can tell you why. He's a Christian. He's a strong Christian. He's a strong believer. Jesus is on his side. So there you go.
Jesus got the wheel.
Here you go. Next one, college, number 1 point spread. The biggest point spread of the season or of the week. Same team as last week with the point spread. Mississippi State going to number 1 Texas. Texas is favored by 38.5 points. We're getting into conference play now. So the points are shrinking. This is the highest. It was the last 2 weeks. There's been points over 40. But Texas last week covered the point spread. There was a 44 point spread and they won by 49. So 38.5 Texas at home against Mississippi State. Who you got, Justin?
Oh, this is a midday game. This is going to be a hot one. I think Texas wins, but I don't think they cover this week.
So you're going Mississippi State?
Yeah, Mississippi State, but Texas wins. Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't have a lot of commentary here except for I like any quarterback named Manning, so I'm taking Texas to cover.
Puke.
Yeah, I enjoy Mannings, which is sad. Just because the Manning cast just made everything better. However, I don't think they're going to cover. I think Mississippi State will cover, but Texas will win by like 35.
Okay. Cool. Good. Next one is I picked 2 ranked teams. This is one that's close to you, Nate. You're close to where I used to be as well. But number 20, Oklahoma State, coming off of a tough loss at number 23, Kansas State in Manhattan, the Little Apple. Kansas State is favored by 4.5 points on this one. Since I haven't picked first, I'll just be fair. I'm going to go Oklahoma State on this one to win outright.
All right. What did you say it was? 4.5.
4.5 points at Kansas State.
Kansas State did not look good last week against BYU.
They played the Mormons. I mean,
so I'm gonna follow you, BJ. The Oklahoma State wins outright on that one.
Okay, Nate, what you got, man?
Yeah, Avery Johnson, the K-State quarterback, is not good at all. So Oklahoma State.
He one time was a Nebraska top quarterback recruit.
Yeah, he's from Wichita, I believe, right?
The Derby area, right? Derby area.
Derby, yeah, Wichita suburb. Yeah,
that was a Scott Frost decision.
Well, speaking of Scott Frost, the last game is the local game.
No, let's not do that. I don't think he ever beat Purdue.
I don't think he ever worked.
Well, I don't really think if Scott Frost actually did beat Purdue.
So before we pick this game, I'm curious, Nate, because I talk to Justin still almost every day.
Sorry.
So I know his opinion.
Get over yourself.
But Nate, I'm just curious as a Husker fan, but who is now not in Lincoln. So you're
lost.
Your perspective is a little bit widened because you're not there all the time, but you're from there. It's your hometown. It's your home team. All those things. What is your opinion on the Nebraska Cornhuskers as things sit right now?
My opinion is it's amazing to actually have a good quarterback. We get a good quarterback for at least a couple more seasons. It's a joy to watch. Our wide receiving core is amazing, which is crazy to think about. Usually we might get one, but we just cannot win close games, and they have to learn to win close games. And so it's encouraging. When I talk to my dad, all we want is let's get to a bowl game first. 6 wins, get 6 wins, get to a bowl game, and then improve on it the next couple of years. And then hopefully by his junior year, Dylan can get us to the playoffs. I mean, it's a little easier to get to the playoffs now. So especially being in the Big Ten or the 18, whatever we are. Yep. And so, but I mean, our defense is bend, don't break, and a lot of the times they broke at the end of the game, and that's just what happened in Illinois. I mean, and Dylan, as a freshman, he just missed that tight end. Like, just if he would have just made it, and if our backup kicker, I mean, we haven't had a good kicker. I mean, for like 5 years, 6 years. So
yeah,
if we had a kicker, we would have won.
You also talk about those wide receivers too, but that wide receiver could have hung on to the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he could have. But
it goes everywhere.
It's very encouraging because it is down here in Kansas City. The last decade, it's very just kind of made fun of. The Huskers, just because they're all Kansas, Mizzou fans, Kansas State fans, and we whooped them for 30 years in the 70s through the 90s. So, and the 2000, a little bit of 2000. So, they're happy that we're miserable, but they do see it that we are getting a little better because when they got Dylan. Raiola that turned things around. So, and Matt Rule is a great coach. I'm excited to have him. Pretty cool to hear that he's Nazarene. So that's kind of cool. But it's encouraging.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. So Nebraska is favored by 10 at Perdon't in Lafayette, Indiana. Who do you got, Nate?
Well, we're on Peacock, so like 5 people will watch it.
I'll be one of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nate.
Justin, are you using? Anyways,
we'll figure that out later. We'll just tell mom we'll tell mom and dad they can't use it.
Anyway, I can stay off of it.
No, you're good.
We will win, but I think Purdue will cover.
So you're going Purdue?
Purdue to cover, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't trust us in the second half.
Well, plus it's our first road game, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle being on the road. They've literally never left the city limits yet, all year.
I can see 9. I can see Purdue just throwing garbage, touchdown, and we get to 9 points, and then we win. So,
okay. Well, Justin, I'll let you go be ahead of me, and I'll give my outside perspective take on it.
Yeah. So Nebraska's going to win, and like I say, my standard is Nebraska's going to win by 10. So I like this pick. My only concern is every year, and I'm going to jinx it by saying it. Every year Nebraska plays in Lafayette, somebody steps on a sprinkler head or a divot in the field and ruins their year. So we have that coming because that's bound to happen because that happens every year. But Nebraska's going to win by 10. I think they'll still win by 10 even with a garbage touchdown at the end, like Nate said.
Well, those are good takes from you, Nebraska people, and I've said all year on the podcast that I'm with Nebraska until they give me a reason to turn them off, and they haven't given me that reason yet. I sent an article and I referenced it to Justin this week as we were talking. Just is the honeymoon over for Matt Rule? He's a 500 coach now in his second year, and I just was like, man, if the honeymoon's over, that's fine because he's still going to keep winning ball games. And I'm with you, Nate. I mean, get to a bowl game, get the extra practices, all of those things that we talk about every year with Nebraska, that it's been so long since a bowl game, and you got to get the extra practices. I agree with that 100%. And I think I've said this all year too, is you've got to be able to make adjustments. And Matt Rule can make adjustments. And he's proven that. Now, what happened Saturday was there was a lot of different things that caused that loss. It wasn't just one play. It wasn't just one situation. It was so many different things. The frustrating thing, and I even heard Coach talk about it, was they looked like the old Nebraska defense that didn't know how to tackle. Yeah. And that is so frustrating for me to watch any kind of football. When I'm watching football, and I tell Justin and Brenton this all the time, you teach the fundamentals, you learn the fundamentals become instincts, you do the fundamentals. Tackling is fundamental in football, and if you don't tackle, you will lose ball games. Now, the other thing that happens is I'm a firm believer. I watch any football game, pro or college. I keep track mentally watching it. I watch the penalties. People talk about turnovers being a big factor. I look at penalties. Once you hit 100 yards in penalties or close to it, you're basically giving up a score. And you've either lost a score or you're giving them a score, one way or the other. Once you hit 100 yards in penalties, and Nebraska was at almost 100 yards, I believe, in penalties, if not over. I can't remember. Last I checked, it was like 84 yards in the fourth quarter.
It was like 8 for 84, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's essentially a score. And what they lose by, they lost by a score in overtime. Now you can blame the overthrow. I see the NFL quarterbacks do that every week. You can blame the referee on the catch in the end zone and all this stuff. You can blame the tackling, all of those things. What matters is what I'm sick and tired of as a Husker fan that's now not in the bubble of Husker Nation is I'm sick and tired of hearing about the one-score losses. I mean, Nate, you said it. You're right. They got to learn to win those games, and there's coaching, there's culture, there's so many things that go into that. But I saw another article that showed the last several coaches of Nebraska that had one-score losses and their records in that. And the best record in the last history of coaches since Frank Solich, after Frank Solich, was Bo Pelini at 20-11. Mm-hmm. 20-11 in one-score games, and this drives me nuts because Bo Pelini was let go after a 9-win season, and all the stuff that you want to talk about Bo Pelini not being a good coach and being bad for the culture and all these things, whatever you want to say, I don't care about all that. What I'm saying is nobody's talking about his record in one-score games. He was 20-11 in one-score games in his tenure as Nebraska head coach, and everybody below him, Bill Callahan. All of those, all the way down the list, Mike Riley, all these people, Scott Frost, everybody else has these losing records, and it's because the culture changed. When they let Bo Pelini go, culture changed, and it changed where they weren't. It's not just a matter of recruiting; it's a matter of you're not expecting to win games, and that's hard to come out of. But here's the thing: Coach Rule is the real deal, and the national heads that are talking about, oh, he couldn't win in the NFL. Who can? You know, the NFL is so it's such a parody league, and you turn it over. If you're not Andy Reid or Bill Belichick or Dan Reeves, or you're not winning in the NFL. And so to compare Matt Rule and his NFL record to how he's been in the college, I mean, he won at Temple, he won at Baylor. He's creating a culture where he's going to win at Nebraska. You just got to, if the honeymoon's over, that's fine. Let's start moving to the next stage of the relationship then. Let's let this marriage play out then, and let him go win. And so his record is better than Bo Pelini's in one-score games. He's 500 in one-score games. I can't remember if it's 6-6 or 8-8. No, he's 8-8 overall. He's 1-7 in one-score games now, something like that.
It's stupid. Yeah,
it is stupid, but that's going to change. That's going to change because he's changing the culture there. So 10 points at Purdue. I just watched my Beavers beat Purdue. I don't think Purdue's a good football team. I think he gets the team. I think he's pivoting culture this week as they go on the road. They're going into a bad team. It is Lafayette, Indiana. There's nothing there but Purdue. It's Nebraska wins by, I think they win by 14 or 17 points here.
All right. I'll take that.
That would be great. I would love it. But I agree. He will change the culture. I mean, the Panthers organization is just horrible. Yeah. So it's not Rule. It wasn't Rule. It was them. So.
And COVID. Yeah, that year for COVID killed his attempt to try to have any leadership.
They never had a quarterback. They had Christian McCaffrey. That was it.
Yeah. Talk about a bad culture. There was a bad culture in Carolina for sure.
Still there.
Yep. Still there. But anyway,
Redhead Dalton.
Well, thanks for picking games with us, Nate, and thanks for being here tonight. Is there anything, Nate, that you just want to tell the world? What's just sitting there you want to tell all 593 impressions?
Well, I just wanted to say this has been fun. I get to listen to this during my work day, so I get to enjoy it, and I hope everyone enjoys it. Especially the memories. This week, my son, because we have a lot of September birthdays. This Thursday, my son Wilson turns 14. So nice. His birthday, just want to shout him out. He's not going to listen, but
what?
He actually has been listening the whole time, just me talking. But
is that who's pounding in the background?
No, that's our bunny. Bunny's on. He's like eating his cardboard. Anywho. So just shout him out. Happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Wilson.
14. And everyone have a great week. And you guys keep this up. It's fun. And hopefully you guys don't run out of stories.
Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. And we do appreciate you saying that, Nate, of the things about us. And I remember the night that I told you about this podcast, you're kind of like, are you joking with me right now? This like can't be real.
11 p.m. I don't know where you've been. So
well, yeah, but Nate was one of my first people I sent the graphic to, and Nate was questioning our sanity. But
yes.
but I'm happy to call you my brother. And we've had some good times and more to come, man.
Yeah. It's been a great friendship and great brotherhood for almost 30 years. It's just, I'm just so thankful that the Thelanders came to Lincoln, Nebraska. So it was great to listen to Rod and Mary. I love listening to them. I could listen to Rod preach and Mary talk about all the fantasy football players.
Johnny Rogers.
Go Johnny
Rogers. Yeah, I just again, I just want to say thank you, Nate, for joining us. You guys both, you and Justin both, have been dear friends to me for almost 30 years, and I'm so thankful for that. So, Justin, what do you got going on this weekend? Next 3 days?
Oh, this weekend. My daughter's going to another homecoming dance. I think this is number 12. I'm losing count. She's going with some friends. Son's got a football game and just kind of hanging out. I'm actually looking at my calendar now because I don't remember half of this stuff. But But yeah, so we're just it's the same thing, same weekend. It seems like weekend at.
Yeah.
But what about you? You're traveling back, aren't you, this week, or is it next week?
Yep, no, I'm traveling back, and then I'll get to see my kids Saturday, and we're celebrating and having some fun, and get to see some people I love. So I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. Yeah, it's going to be good. I love it when I get to see people and get to spend time with them. I'm looking forward. I miss my kids. I miss them when I'm gone, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them. We're actually, just to give a little segue, a little preview, we're planning to have them on the show next week with us, so we're looking forward to having that happen as well. So just a good family weekend and a good time hanging out, so I'm looking forward to that. So, hey, it's been fun, and I'm thankful for the time. Thank you for Nate for joining us, and I'm so glad for that. It's been good to share the stories, and we look forward to next time as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, wait 3 days, sleep on it, let us know. But here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.